What's happening, everybody? Jason and Brandy here for our third take of this particular podcast episode, All My Fault. What's going on, Brandy?
I'm pretty sure that this is the first time we've ever had to do 3 takes to get this started. So for those of you that are listening, not only did we have to get 3 takes to get this going, Mr. Jason Wright was about 30 minutes late. So apparently he needs to take a deep breath, breathe in, breathe out.
What's funny is it's been an unbelievable day in a good way today. Today's been remarkable. And all I'll say about that is every time a door closes, a new one or a whole bunch of new ones open. That's it.
Oh my gosh, I just posted about that on LinkedIn. Okay, so I just gave Jason a hard time because I'm really tired. I just want to go for my nap. But I love that when things match up because somebody posted on LinkedIn, what's your favorite piece of advice you ever got or whatever. And I live by the motto from Sun Tzu, Art of War: opportunities multiply as they are seized. And that's exactly what you just said. When you do something, other things just start rolling and it gets better and there's more stuff. So sorry, my motto.
No, you know what's great, and I'll say this because it's super important. I think I just have to say this now, but it doesn't matter what we're doing in life. When things get bad, and they're always going to get bad at some point, there's always going to be challenges. That's what life's about, or business or whatever. Just keep going. You don't know how much benefit or how much opportunity comes if you just keep going. The thing I always think about is if you're going around a corner and you stop and say, I'm done, I'm going back, how do you know what's around the next corner? You're never going to know. I mean, it doesn't make sense to stop because what are you going to do? Go back to the way things were before? I mean, it's just keep going. It's amazing how much comes out of that. You don't have to understand how it's going to work out. Just keep going and it will,
That is actually my theme for the day. You are
You have goosebumps? Do you feel the electricity?
Well, I feel hot because it's hot in here. It's finally heating up in Charlotte again. So I don't know if that's what
I will tell you, our weather in Central Indiana, it's been really wet this year, but we are getting so lucky with unbelievable weather. Like today, it is low humidity and 78 degrees and sunny. I mean, it's like Southern California weather. And I don't think we get over 82 for the next 10 days, which is very unusual for this time of year. So it's really been nice.
Yeah, we were in a drought. We had a record-setting 27 days without rain or whatever. And then my son's high school graduation was this weekend, and it rained for 4 days straight.
So tell me about that. You were telling me about that story, and then I interrupted you, I think 2 or 3 times. So
yeah. So long story short, it wasn't raining at all, and then we had graduation party, which was supposed to be outside, graduation, which was supposed to be outside, and they don't have rain plans. We were going to go on I live next to a really big lake, and we were going to go on a Mississippi riverboat style paddle boat thing ride yesterday.
in the back.
All outside activities.
Yep.
With family from out of town. And then you're like, okay, so it's raining. So we were very blessed. The rain held off on all of the big events, like the graduation party. It stopped raining just for time. Graduation went off with the no rain. The paddle boat ride, it did rain, but I may or may not have asserted myself because they made some changes that we specifically requested not to have. So I may or may not have gotten my money back out of that one. And my husband was like, who are you? And what did you do with my very nice wife? And I was like, it's been a long weekend.
Yeah.
So I do have to share one thing about my weekend because I got to do a shout out. So there's a new thing out there. They're called Smash Rooms. And so my buddy, Mark Kane, has a business called a mobile Smash Room. So he takes his big truck and he hauls this trailer, like a toy hauler, the kind you drive your motorcycles up in or a car or whatever. And he converts it to this just empty room with some spaces to hold stuff. And he puts 2 55-gallon drums on it. And he brings just junk like plates and glasses and vases and lamps and old printers and computers, and he brought this big TV, and you literally go in with baseball bats, sledgehammers, and hammers, and you break everything. It is the most exhilarating feeling. Like, I didn't get a kick out of the printer. Like, I went in with another gal, and she was really excited about this printer, but I took a stack of plates like this big, and I went with my hammer, and my dad was like, honey, are you okay? And I was like, I feel really
working on it, Dad.
So he said, so my buddy Mark, he said that there are only 4 or 5 smash rooms in the United States, and only 2 of them are mobile. And he's actually going up to Indiana, I think he said sometime in the next month, to do this event. And they paid him a pretty good amount of money to haul his trailer up there, go to their conference, and just let people smash stuff. So
Wow.
if you want to do something really cool, team building, family reunion, whatever, get a smash room. It's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's a really cool concept. So I'm going to kind of put you on the spot today a little bit. People are probably like, all right, what are we talking about, guys? Is it or is it not true that your mentality towards side hustles and entrepreneurship may have changed a little bit over the last couple of months? Tell me about that.
So let's see. Well, first we'll clarify, because I don't want people to think that I have been misrepresenting them. It's not that my opinion has changed, it's that my emotional status has changed. So, I mean, I think we all remember the journey that I lost my role with the company I was with, and then I started a new company doing mortgage. And there is really a lot of opportunity in mortgage. Like, if you want to do a career, there's a lot of career opportunity in mortgage, especially right now with rates going as low as they are. Everybody's like, "Ooh, let's refinance." I'm sorry, that didn't come out. Refinance. That was supposed to be a word, not a fake word.
Let's refi.
Let's refi. That didn't work. So what happened was it's kind of what you just said a minute ago. I needed to walk out the path that I was given. And so that is my one takeaway that I want people to get from this conversation. If you are confused about what you want to do, you're in your 9-to-5 job, your corporate job, whatever, and you're not loving it, that's okay. Walk the path that you've been given. And for me, I needed to do that. I needed to get my feet wet. I needed to know what my world was there, because it was something new for me. And then the next step for me was went to this team meeting with our area staff, and I got to talk about some of the stuff that I love to talk about, like strategy and leadership and empowering employees and all of those things. But one of the conversations started with just hiring. So they were talking about hiring somebody, and I was like, because at the end of the day, it's character, chemistry, and competency. And they're like, that's really good. I was like, oh, I didn't come up with that. Like, but those are the things I like to talk about. And then we talked about, oh, have you read the book Who? And so I got really passionate when I started talking about that stuff. And I realized I'm in a really good day job for me. Like, I love the company that I'm working for. I love the guy that I'm working with. We're building a team. We're starting a couple people. But I also really love helping entrepreneurs build their business, small businesses, build their customer experience. Jason is like doing that. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, because he told me before I got this job, while I was still looking, he's like, you just need to go do coaching, and you just need to go, help people. And I was like, but I don't know. And it just really, that's the second piece of advice I want people to walk away with is, number one, walk the path you're in, because you can't ditch anything on, well, this could be a good idea. Oh, we could do this. Yeah, but you can build a side hustle into a real business, or whatever path it looks like, on something that gets you excited. I used to have a friend, she called it your bright eyes. when you get bright eyes talking about something, okay, if you're just listening, that would be Jason, making me feel very scared right now. He's sticking his face up in the camera. But I think that really qualifies. I felt so excited after having conversations about that kind of stuff. And that's what you're looking for. That's when you know you have a side hustle that you could keep forever, or maybe grow it into another business, whatever. But sometimes you need a money-making job in your life. And but at the same time, you need that life. So that's my advice, is follow the path that you're given, but don't ever stop thinking about, what gets you excited. And then when you get those bright eyes and you have those conversations, then you can start, okay, well, how do I make this happen? What's my first step? And then you go into your action steps. And I've already got my action step plan. And I will have to tell you, so I am a coach. I've been a leadership coach. I got my certification like in 06 or something like that. I have never utilized a coach other than my coach training, because I'm pretty good at self-regulating. I'm pretty bossy to myself, as everybody else. Like, I'm just bossy in general, but I do listen to myself. But in order to make this happen, I know I need a coach. Like, I have already picked out the coach that I'm going to hire, because I don't want it to get lost. And I know what I need. So I knew what coach I wanted. So if you don't know any good coaches, you got to kind of shop around and talk to a bunch of people, because every coach is a little bit different. Like, when I coach, I'm very much, action steps, make them right for you. I have a friend that's doing coaching right now, and he's doing a group coaching, which it's great. It's a great coaching product, but it's more mentoring. And he needs someone to say, okay, you're not going to get all 20 of these items done. Tell me which one you're actually going to get done. He needs it broken down even more, because he's got a lot on his plate. So he knows he needs to, well, he doesn't know it, but his coach needs to know. So, see, you got me started. Now I got my bright eyes again. I just woke up from my nap, so I was a little sluggish, but I got going now. So
what I love about this is people used to always try to plead with me to say, Jason, you've got to feed your family. You've got to think about your family and your bills, because I went through one really vicious breakup with corporate America that left us in a spot where I was making $75 a week for a while, which is pretty dire. And I would always kind of push back and say, but I also need to feed my soul, because I'm dead inside going through this. And it's when you find that crossroads of what you're good at and what you're passionate about, and you figure out how you can make money with it. That's like we say, things can get really exciting for you. So it's great to hear this. It's great to hear you at least acknowledging that there's other things. It doesn't have to be an all or this or that. Man, I'm at a loss for words. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing proposition. I mean, the side hustle is a side hustle for a reason. I know people that have, I worked with a client this year that his side hustle was so far beyond what the average person will ever make in their lifetime. Is unbelievable. I was like, wait, how much money? I mean, it's just unbelievable, but his day job makes even more. So side hustle is almost $1 million a year. So, and he has no interest in making
Gosh, I don't know if you could live on that.
But it's beautiful because the amount of time that it takes for him to do is very minimal. And it's something he built up over 7 or 8 years, and it's got some good systems in place. And obviously that's kind of a one-off scenario, but I'm a fan of everybody having a side hustle. Just the tax advantages of a loan, of being able to write off things in a legitimate way are great. Like every person should have an LLC. Everybody should have something. Something I get to teach my kids about, but being able to earn $1 of your own income, man, it's nice.
But I think the caveat to that is, and obviously I agree. I mean, I'm excited about my side hustle, which I never thought I would be. I have always had problems promoting myself, but if you're going to start a side hustle, you have to be in the right place. Like I couldn't be where I am now if I hadn't gotten myself to a place where I was comfortable with what I was doing at work, where I felt like all of my ducks were in a row. So if you're if you're dealing with marital problems or your kid problems, or you're like, you got to clean house a little. And that's where the coaching starts, by the way. If you're thinking about it, if you have dreams, it doesn't just start once you're at the place where I am. I'm like, okay, I know what my goal is. I know how I want to structure things. I just need someone to kind of keep me on the path.
Yep.
But a lot of times it starts way back with, my life is a mess and I'm unhappy. So where do I go from here? Well, okay, let's figure out your job. Let's figure out the things that make you unhappy about it, but you still, weigh out those pros and cons. Let's figure out your life. What do you need to make an adjustments in to make that steady and calm? Because if those things aren't there, if you can't, it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? If your basic safety, security, food, shelter, emotional support, like if none of that is there, you can't put into a side hustle what's going to make it successful. So that's why it was number one, was, okay, figure out where you are right now, then find the place that finds your bright eyes and your passions and go forward. But yeah, I think that a lot of people, I don't remember what the statistic is, like 5% of people are happy in their job or something like that. Like but you gotta figure everything out and then just jump on it. Just said this like 5 minutes ago. Opportunities multiply as they are seized. Sun Tzu, The Art of War. So what are you seizing today?
It's really funny because I was talking to Carmen, my wife, just a few days ago, and she said, when are we going to be to the point where we have so much extra money at any given time that we never have to worry about anything again? And I said, everything with entrepreneurship, it's ebbs and flows, and it's funny that we had that conversation 24 hours ago, because what's happened since then it doesn't even seem believable. It's been awesome. It's been a great day.
Awesome.
And what's funny though, is I noticed with her is her appetite for risk is so much greater than it was 3 years ago. Like for her and I to be legitimately like scared about something, we'd have to be in a pretty bad spot. I'd have to be brain injury with both of my hands cut off. Then I'd be like, wow, I really maybe can't work now. But like we have just kind of ridden this wave, and there's just all kinds of, I have some projects, I don't even call them business ventures anymore, because the title of my company is Gray Fox Business Ventures. I have some projects right now that would be so interesting for you to hear. You'd be like, what are you doing with barbecue? Are you serious? Where's this coming from? And
I'm pretty sure nothing shocks me about you, like, anymore. I'm sure they're super cool, but not, I expect you to do really crazy things. And that's what I love about you.
Have I talked to you about the how we're going to start helping companies? I don't know if I've talked to you about this at all or not, honestly, but I basically realized recently, it's like, man, there's 3 big reasons, and they're general, but there's 3 reasons why entrepreneurs never get out of the side hustle, never get to a big level, why they get stuck somewhere. Marketing's one, and we're addressing that. The other piece is mindset, which we've talked about today, because if you talk to people, man, there's some people that will say some crazy stuff like, even though this is working really well, there's no way I can do double this. What do you mean? Why would you say that? And they get these ideas that only make sense in their head. Like they can't even articulate them in a way that doesn't sound like jello in your ears. It doesn't make any sense. And it's that inner voice that's the most powerful voice you'll ever hear. And then the third piece is, if people can't build and scale teams, especially virtual teams or remote teams, like in my world, you're not going anywhere. And the reason why is because there's only so many hours in a day, and you are not scalable. I don't care how good you are, you have limits. You will get burnt out and exhausted. So if you try to do it alone, guess what? And I can think of some people right now that are in this boat. You're gonna be doing the same thing that you were 3 years ago, and you're gonna try to tell me and convince yourself you're doing better, but you're not really, because you're still dealing with the same amount of pieces there. So we're going to start helping entrepreneurs scale their teams. I don't know if I've told you that or not, but
that sounds like fun. That's actually one of the things that I'm doing at work. Like, we're building a team, and I call it pushback, but it's more just building together, because we're working on it together, is all the things that, like communication, and what are the systems and processes, and who do you have the right person in the right seat on the right bus? So you're the bus.
Yeah.
Number one, should that person even be on your bus?
Yeah.
And then number two, are they doing the right thing that they're supposed to be doing? And are there other opportunities, other seats for them? So
Yep.
yeah, I love building teams.
Well, it's interesting because you probably didn't know this, but once upon a time, I made all my money online actually helping with HR stuff. So I did HR in the corporate world for 7 years. I've got my own team. I actually have a second company I never talk about with a small team there as well. So it's not an unfamiliar place. And I know that people are the thing that's going to define your success or your failure. If you surround yourself with the wrong people in any part of life, you are going down because they're boat anchors. You surround yourself with the right people that have what you don't have, the sky's the limit. There's nothing that can stop you.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people are scared of hiring in the traditional world, but when you take it online, I don't know why, it's like, oh God, I can't handle this. I can't see them. You know, you can do video, but I can't shake their hand. Oh boy, I can't do it. So what they do is they say, I'll get to it soon, and they never do, and nothing ever changes. So you're going to see intentionally inspirational over time focus on those three groups: marketing, mindset, and team building, because all those things are going to prevent entrepreneurs from going where they want to go. So
that's
cool.
Really good. That's exciting. I do look forward to hearing that. That's speaking my language, man.
There you go. Well, I think we've given the listeners enough to think about for one episode. What do you think?
Probably more than enough. They probably tuned out about 15 minutes ago. Sorry, listeners.
You and I will be the only people who actually hear this. So
we appreciated you while you were still here. Thank you.
Absolutely. As always, we really appreciate the time and attention. And I don't know if I've shared, we've got a bunch of guests that want to come on. We need to start getting people on here. I know we've got Garland to get on next, and we've got a bunch of other people in the email as well. So I'll take the blame for all that, but we will get it, make it happen, and keep moving forward. Sound good?
It's exciting.
All right. Well, that's all I've got for this week. So thanks everybody for listening. And Brandy probably wants to say bye too.
You're so kind to me. So I like to do a recap. So the two things that I thought were really important from my little story were figure out where you are in the world. And then, God, what did I say? Figure out where you are in the world. And then figure out where your bright eyes are. God, great.
You're not drinking more of that sparkling grape juice and stuff, are you? That might explain the nap at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. See ya.